Chapter 3, A Strange Gift. "What did Miss Harmon give you, Louise?" asked Penny. "Door passes." Louise stared down at the pieces of pink cardboard. "Let's go inside. I think it'd be fun to see the show from backstage." "So do I. But weren't you in a hurry to get home?" "I'm so late. Another half hour won't make much difference now. One doesn't get a chance like this every day." "Right you are," agreed Penny. "I'll park the car." After the automobile had been jammed close against the theater building, the girls presented themselves at the side door. Just inside sat an old man, his chair tilted comfortably against the wall. Louise timidly offered him the passes. Without glancing at them, he inclined his head. "Go right along in," he said between puffs on his long-stemmed pipe. "Miss Harmon's act is on now. You can watch her from the wings, if you mind to. But don't make any noise." He jerked his thumb towards a narrow wooden stairway. Penny and Louise tiptoed up the steps. They could hear the stir of the audience and the first strains of the orchestra. They crept into the right wing, close behind an electrician who was busy flooding the stage with the rainbow-hued lights. A lithe, supple figure in white, with huge red wings, pirouetted about the stage in a butterfly dance. The two girls watched the whirling dancer in awe. "She's marvelous," whispered Louise. The dance came to an end, and amid thunderous applause, Miss Harmon darted into the left wing where her maid stood waiting. In a twinkling, she had divested herself of the butterfly wings. Beneath the white costume, she wore one of gleaming gold. The maid handed her a cane, a silk hat, and helped her substitute a pair of tap shoes for her ballet slippers. "She's faster than a fireman answering a 3 alarm," Penny observed admiringly. "But that new maid is awkward." Louise nodded, for she too had noticed that Miss Harmon's assistant was slow and fumbling in her movements. They saw the dancer frown in annoyance. However, before the applause had died away, she was back on stage again, this time with a fast aerobatic tap dance. Penny watched her for a few minutes, and then her gaze wandered to Miss Harmon's maid. The woman might have been 30 years of age. She had large hands and a plain face, but it was the expression of the dark eyes which held the girls' attention. Unaware that she was under scrutiny, the maid regarded her dancing mistress with a look of undisguised hatred. "Louise," Penny whispered, nudging her chum. Before she could add more, the maid's eyes focused upon the two girls. Penny, feeling as if her very thoughts had been read, quickly looked back towards the stage. The tap dance ended in a whirlwind series of cartwheels and handsprings. After 3 bows, Miss Harmon ran off the stage for the last time, tossed her hat and cane into the hands of the maid, and then sought Louise and Penny. "I'm so glad you saw my act," she smiled, guiding them towards the stairway. "Did you like my dancing?" "It was wonderful," declared Louise. "You must have been born without starch in your bones," Penny added. "I don't see how you do all those bending stunts." "I started practicing when I was 4 years old. My mother was a dancer. I've been on the stage all my life." Miss Harmon opened the door of her dressing room. Penny and Louise hesitated, scarcely knowing whether or not they were expected to enter. "Please stay and chat with me a while I take off my grease paint," Miss Harmon invited cordially. "Come right in." The dressing rooms were littered with articles of clothing. Miss Harmon swept them clean and motioned for the girls to seat themselves. "This room is a mess. My new maid, Felice, is so shiftless, and I wonder what is keeping her now." Miss Harmon frowned with irritation as she picked up a rough towel and began to apply cold cream to her face. "Tell me all about yourself," she urged. "Oh, there's just about nothing to tell," said Penny modestly. "You already know our names." "Do you have any sisters or brothers?" "Louise has a younger brother, Ted. I'm not lucky enough to have any. You see, there's just Dad and me in our family." "Oh, your mother's dead?" Miss Harmon inquired with a quick sympathy. "Yes," Penny nodded. "Mrs. Weems, our housekeeper, has looked after me ever since I can remember. She's a dear." "Penny's father owns the Riverview Star," Louise declared with pride. "The only real newspaper in the city." "Dad thinks so anyway," laughed Penny. Miss Harmon regarded the girl with a new and somewhat shrewd interest. "So your father's in a newspaper business. Well, perhaps you could get him to run a favorable line about my act." "I might," Penny said cautiously. "No, I was only joking," the dancer answered with a quick change in mood. "Favorable publicity helps, of course, but you have done me enough favors for one day." Before Penny could reply, the dressing room door opened, and the maid, Felice, came in. She glanced at the girls with an expression which easily might have been interpreted as hostile. "Felice," said Miss Harmon impatiently, "how many times must I tell you that I expect you to come to the dressing room immediately after my act?" "I stopped to get this package from the doorman," the maid muttered. "Oh, flowers!" Miss Harmon exclaimed. Her face brightened. "From some unknown admirer, I suppose." She eagerly accepted the package and, breaking the stout cord, raised the box lid. A strange expression came over her face as she stared at the contents. "Why, what's this?" she gasped. She lifted it from the tissue paper wrapping. A queer doll with a pointed black hat, a long flowing dark cape, and a horrible grotesque face. "Someone has sent me an old witch!" Miss Harmon exclaimed, holding it up for the others to see. "A doll made like a witch? Such a weird-looking thing." "It's bad luck to get a doll like that," Miss Harmon declared the maid. "Oh, you're always saying everything is bad luck," protested the dancer. "I wonder who could have sent this doll. It must have been done for a joke." A card had fallen from the box to the floor. Penny picked it up and offered it to Miss Harmon. "Listen to this," the young woman explained as she scanned the message. "Kindly accept this witch doll with my compliments of the sender. It may prove the inspiration for a new creative dance. Only beware of the doll's evil spell, for once accepted, the doll cannot be given away." "There, I was right," cried Felice triumphantly. "The doll will bring you bad luck." "Oh, hush, Felice," Miss Harmon said, frowning. "That part about evil spells is only a joke." "Is there a name on the card?" inquired Penny. Miss Harmon shook her head. "No, the witch doll was sent anonymously." She set the doll on the dresser and stared at it thoughtfully. "It's such an ugly doll," commented Louise. "But so ugly it's fascinating," declared Miss Harmon. "There is an original idea back of this doll. I believe I could create a marvelous dance around it. Felice, do you remember my famous bat dance?" "I was not with you at the time, Miss Harmon." "No, of course not. I forgot for a moment. Now, I could use some of those same steps in this witch doll dance. It would be a sensation." Miss Harmon's eyes blazed with enthusiasm. Then her face clouded as she glanced again at the little white card. "There is only one thing that bothers me. This strange warning that the doll can never be given away. What could that mean?" "Nothing in my opinion," said Penny. "I'm not a believer in spells myself." "It does seem silly," Miss Harmon agreed. "For several months I've needed a new dance to help out my act. This witch doll provides just the inspiration I need." "Then will you keep the doll, Miss Harmon?" asked the maid softly. "Yes, why not? It couldn't return it to the sender anyway. There's no address. I'll work out the new dance immediately and try it here in Riverview. Felice, instead of bringing me bad luck, this doll may be the best thing that ever happened to me." "Perhaps," said the maid with a shrug. Miss Harmon chatted as excitedly as a child about her plans for the new interpretive dance. The girls listened intently for a time, but Louise could tell that Penny was impatient to leave. she saw her chum casually pick up the little white card which had been sent with the witch doll box. Louise felt certain Penny meant to slip it into her own pocket, but before she could, Felice glided forward. "I'll take that, miss," she said. Penny gave up the card, and the maid dropped it into the wastebasket. Miss Harmon, without noticing, went on talking about the scenery which she would have painted to go with her witch doll dance. At length the girls declared they must leave. "Do drop in again," the dancer urged. "I enjoyed visitors, and I shall send you tickets when I give the first performance of the witch doll dance." "We'll certainly not miss it," Penny replied. The girls went downstairs, past the doorman who smiled at them, and then outside to the car. Not until then did Louise speak. "Penny, why did you examine that card so carefully? You meant to keep it too, didn't you?" "Well, the idea had been roving around my mind," Penny admitted, "but Felice was too quick for me." "Why were you so interested in the card anyway?" "Perhaps because the entire affair is so queer. Did you notice how pleased Felice seemed when Miss Harmon decided to keep the witch doll?" "Yes, she did rather act funny about it." Yet only a moment before Felice had warned Miss Harmon that it would be bad luck to have the doll in her possession. Felice doesn't seem to have any great love for her mistress. "No, that's perfectly evident. I suppose some crank sent the doll." Penny gave her friend a curious glance. "That depends upon whether or not you call Nellie Marble a crank," she said dryly. "Nellie Marble? What are you suggesting?" "Just this. The doll came from Nellie's shop. I've seen too many of those cream-colored boxes not to recognize them." "You bought one yourself not an hour ago." "And the note?" Louise gasped. "You think Nellie wrote that silly warning too?" Penny hesitated a moment and then said quietly, "No, that's the part which puzzles me. The handwriting wasn't hers, but I'm certain the witch doll came from the marble shop. And mark my words, Lou, it was never sent as an inspiration for a dance." Do 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 do.